Just 750,000 people share a lot of space in South Dakota. They share a single area code and a small capital. But lawmakers in Pierre have put South Dakota in the vanguard of a renewed campaign to outlaw abortion. Citing what they see as a more receptive or anti-abortion high court, lawmakers easily approved a sweeping ban on the procedure, one that declares that life begins at conception.
South Dakota's law makes it a crime for a doctor to perform an abortion unless the mother's life is endangered. There are no exceptions for cases in which a mother's health may be threatened or cases in which the pregnancy results from rape or incest.
You know, I think we're really pushing the envelope on that issue. I'm not sure that the Supreme Court is ready for us yet, but what's that old saying? There's no time like the present.
Veteran State Senator Bill Napoli strongly backed the new ban.
The most important part of this bill is that if Roe versus Wade is overturned, states' rights are returned to us to decide what to do about abortion.
Already, South Dakota is perhaps the most difficult place in the country to get an abortion. There's a 24-hour waiting period and mandatory counseling to discourage the procedure. The law requires parental notification in cases where the patient is a minor. Only one clinic, Planned Parenthood in Sioux Falls, offers the procedure.
Hail Mary, full of grace.
Often, patients must drive past picketers. No local doctor will go near this clinic.
Near you? Hi.
So one day each week, a physician flies in from Minnesota to provide abortions. It's a cause that drew Dr. Miriam McCrary out of retirement.
I put myself in their position, and I want to treat them the way I'd want to be treated myself.
One patient she saw was this woman, probably in her early 20s. She would not reveal even her age. With a low-paying job and 2 children, she said she simply could not afford a third.
It was difficult. When I found out I was pregnant, I was saddened because I knew that I'd probably have to make this decision. Like I said, I have 2 children, so I look into their eyes and I love them. It's been difficult, you know. It's not easy, and I don't think it's, you know, ever easy on a woman, but we need that choice.
She drove here from more than 5 hours away. Besides legal and social sanction, distance is a big hurdle for many patients, one that will get even bigger if the new law takes effect. Democratic Representative Clayton Halverson considers himself in the middle on this issue.
In my opinion, the middle is allow the amendments we offered, which would include, in the case of rape, the option of abortion should be available. In the case of incest, the same thing goes. And when the mother's health or the health of the fetus, those are exceptions that I don't think should be ignored. And I believe that's the middle. That's where I think most of the people in our state fall.
That's not how Senator Napoli reads public opinion in his state.
My calls have been running 3-to-1 in favor of this bill.
Napoli says most abortions are performed for what he calls convenience. He insists that exceptions can be made for rape or incest under the provision that protects the mother's life. I asked him for a scenario in which an exception may be invoked.
A real-life description to me would be a rape victim. Brutally raped, savaged. The girl was a virgin. She was religious. She planned on saving her virginity until she was married. She was brutalized and raped, sodomized, as bad as you can possibly make it, and is impregnated. I mean, that girl could be so messed up physically and psychologically that carrying that child could very well threaten her life.
Democratic Representative Elaine Roberts is one of South Dakota's few pro-choice legislators. What's next, she fears, is a host of measures that regulate women's private lives.
We already have a law that says a pharmacist by conscience could refuse to fill my prescription for contraceptives. There is already a move from some groups who have worked on this to say that there should be no contraceptives, that sexual intercourse is for the purpose of reproduction.
Much of what she fears as an assault on basic rights, Senator Napoli sees as a return to traditional values.
When I was growing up here in the Wild West, if a young man got a girl pregnant out of wedlock, they got married, and the whole darn neighborhood was involved in that wedding. I mean, you just didn't allow that sort of thing to happen. They wanted that child to be brought up in a home with 2 parents you know, that whole story. And so I happen to believe that can happen again.
You really do?
Yes, I do. I don't think we're so far beyond that we can't go back to that.